far as your guitars, people also, there's a lot of gear junkies out there that watch the show.
Sure.
So what do you take on the road with you as far as your guitars?
On the road, I've always taken a variety of Taylor guitars out there on the road with me. I started, the first guitar I ever had was a 612, and I took that out for years until I started to, check out other numbers. And I moved up to the 714. I've just been playing the 714s for ages now, and then I took a couple of T5s out on the road. So I always have the two T5s. I got two 714s. I got two 612s now. And then my dad found this guitar. I don't take this on the road, but this has become one of my primary recording guitars.
It sounds unbelievable. Why don't you tell them about it? That's
from what I understand, they only made about a dozen of them. It's an old Taylor J15, and I think maybe they were trying to make a jazz guitar, some kind of interesting jumbo guitar.
Yeah.
I don't even know, but it was found in Mechanicsville, Virginia, where I'm from. My dad found it in a little mom and pop guitar shop, and I just think it's weird that if they created that small of amount, that it ended up in my hometown. I think it was meant to be. So my dad found it. He's like, I know you got a lot of guitars, son, but you don't have any from your dad.
Nice.
And I was like, that is awesome. So I took it back to Taylor here, and they were like, wow, we haven't seen this in ages, and got them to fix it up for me, and it's just been playing great. It's so warm, and I'd like to take it on the road, but, every time I come home from the road, I'm sending guitars back to Taylor because I have a tendency to play them percussively or get in arguments during sound check and drop them by accident.
Yeah, that's a trick because I don't think I've ever seen a Taylor with those inlays either. So that's a trick.
There's little ovals.
Well, the thing that impressed me with it when you first pulled out the case, you handed it to me, right? I just played for a second. It's the warmest, roundest thing I've heard on a acoustic guitar. I mean,
I know, it's
maybe ever.
so
It just
great.
sounds incredible.
Yeah, I love it.
Well, and it lends itself well to your style. Let's talk about some of the songs you performed.
Okay.
The first song, Pretty Mellow, you start with a little chord.
Yeah.
Does this tend to sound a lot better when you're playing more quietly on it, or do you notice that even when you bang away on it, it still keeps it's all the way through?
Even when I bang away on it, that's what I love about this guitar. Like, I tend to play with my fingers, my fingernails, really, to just try to keep it percussive. And I've noticed that even the louder you get on this particular guitar, the prettier it sounds.
How long have you had it?
I think this was a holiday gift from my dad maybe 2 years ago. I think late 2003, 2004.
So did we hear this on your last album?
It wasn't on my last album. I'm going to say 2004 then, because we had just finished making Mr. A to Z, and then I think that's when I received it, and I started doing all the recordings with it then. So it'll definitely be heard on the new album.
That's what I was going to say. And what's the new album? What's the story with that? What are you going to do on there? Anything different from the past albums?
It's funny because I started here in San Diego as an acoustic act in a coffee shop, just playing a guitar and playing with a percussionist. And then I got signed, and all the records I put out since then have been these pop rock albums, And so I'm finally working on my first official acoustic album. So it's going to be just raw, simple ingredients, so. Are
you doing your own background vocals as well, or do you bring someone in to do that?
I have done them on all the other records because I really like the way that sounds when you're layering all those pop fluff, But my percussionist, Toco Rivera, he's such an amazing singer, so I really hope to capture his vocals on this record.
Nice. So if you take this particular album out on the road, will it be just you and him, like the old days?
It probably will be he and I for a lot of the cities, but it depends on what the songs call for. I do think if a song calls for strings, I'm going to bring in strings or piano and even light drums. Yeah. But I do want to stay away from as many electric instruments as possible. Cool. And just keep it raw.
Do you have an idea when it'll be out?
I have no idea when it'll be out. I'm thinking late 2007. Because I'm just now in the middle of writing it. Probably start recording in January. But
now, does that mean you'll be taking next summer off of playing, or will you still play while you're recording? Do you do both, or do you isolate yourself?
I have to play. I'll if I do a week or 2 weeks of writing, I have to go out and find somewhere to play. Whether it's a coffee shop in San Diego, or sometimes I'll go out and do a college gig, and because I need to be reminded that I have an act or that I do play out. Otherwise, my whole style will change, and I'll start living in my head, and I don't really know what my songs are for. Right. And I think I want my songs to be shared, you know. And if I don't share them, I tend to just start writing them about my own psychosis or something.
Yeah, that's what happens. I hear you on that one.
Yeah.
As far as the lyrics, where do you draw your inspiration? Is it daily activities or relationships? A lot of it, to me, when I was listening to what I heard today, sounded more relationship stuff and more personal. It sounds very personal.
Absolutely, personal stuff. A lot of it's like coming of age. I always feel like every year I feel like I'm a new person, and so I use songs to document my changes and my growth. And in every relationship I've ever been in, whether it's with a girlfriend or a family member, when I start an album, I always write down a long list of names and then try to write a song for each person.
Ah, that's very cool.
Because within every relationship, there's a story there, and I know how it ends or where it left off, so I don't have to spend too much time making things up.
Very cool. And as far as you said you started as a singer. How long ago did you start playing guitar? Or
I started playing when I was about 18. Is when I was living in New York City, and my roommate had a guitar, and so that's where I started to really spend a lot of time with it. And I just turned 29, so it's been 10 years of living with the instrument. And it isn't until now that I'm starting to feel confident, like even confident to come on this show.
You play great. What I was going to ask you is, where did you learn all that you learned? Is it just you just pick it up, or do you ever sit and actually study the guitar?
Never picked it up and studied it. There's been a number of things that I ordered thinking I'm going to learn, or a number of people I've talked to that said, well, I'll go and learn from them. And I just, I kept getting caught up in the career and traveling and this and that, and I said, well, whatever I'm doing is working, And then plus being on the road solid for the last 3 years, and putting a band together. There was another guitar player in that band, and I would then learn to play less, in the band, and I started to pay more attention to how the instrument fits in to the whole.
Sounds great. I was in Austin this last summer for the Summer NAMM show, and in the hotel, you were on 24/7.
Oh, right.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Something
Playing
about
The Life Was Wonderful, the opening track I did here.
Yeah, you're doing that, and then something about the piano that was going on tour, and you signed it and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was funny because back then I didn't know you were coming on the show, but every time I flipped the channel, and every time, seriously, every time I saw it, I get sucked back in and watch it again because I thought there were such interesting things there, and I thought it was very cool how much you've integrated, because you were putting a little piano in there and just playing guitar, and so you've really got a lot with just the guitar and the vocal, and the piano when you do the piano and vocal, and just really appreciate you coming down and being on the show for everyone here. And it just sounds great. I really appreciate your style too. You do a great job.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm learning. Each day is a gift.